Enhance. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here with Brian Sanchez, personal trainer slash coach at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson. You look good, Brian.
No, you. I bet you've been reading the Swoley Bible because you look yoked.
You know what? I always try to compliment you right out of the gate because I'm really insecure. And when I compliment you, I know you'll compliment me back. And that kind of, alleviates a little bit of my insecurity. So thank you.
I'm glad I can pump you up.
Yeah, I tell my wife all the time too, say something good about me, babe. I'm insecure. She just laughs at me. It's not funny.
Hey, everybody, you ain't met nobody no more alpha than Steve. We all know the reality.
I'm not arrogant though.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about something really fun. We're going to talk about something really fun right now.
All right.
And it's something that almost everybody in the fitness industry talks about. It's something that people in the gym talk about. People outside of the gym talk about. People that are fat on their couch, they even talk about this. And that's kind of the funny part of why they talk about it.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about being enhanced. Is it a good thing to be enhanced? Meaning you're putting things in your body that are going to enhance it and make you perform better. Now, a lot of these enhancement type supplements or whatever you want to call them are illegal if you're in a sport. If you're in a collegiate sport, you need to check to see if NAD plus is not allowed. If you play in the NFL or the NBA or all these places, a lot of these supplements or compounds are not allowed in your sport. If you're a distance runner or whatever, collegiate athlete. So, but does that mean you shouldn't be enhanced? I'm 63 years old. I want every advantage I can get for longevity. But the thing that cracks me up, and we'll debunk this, the thing that cracks me up is when people say, oh, the reason you look the way you do at your age or whatever, or the way you look the way you do, even for a 25-year-old, is because you're enhanced, because you're on TRT, because you're using peptides. That is a joke. And, the people that work hard, you see a lot of these fitness influencers that work really hard and they look really good. They get pissed off when people say that. The reason they get pissed off is because they are working their asses off. And so here's the response to the fat guy on the couch who says, I would look like you too if I was on TRT. No, you won't. No, you won't, Tubbo. You will not unless you put the work in, you clean up your diet, and you work hard. Then you can look as good as that fitness influencer that you work on YouTube or that you watch on YouTube. Otherwise, you're just going to be fat. You can do TRT. You can do whatever you want. Sit on the couch and keep eating your bonbons and nothing's going to happen. That's my initial introductory to this.
So we're glad that we're here in this happy environment today, Steve.
Now, we will get into some of the things I do. I'm not going to get into details, but some of this stuff is blowing my mind on what it can help me do at my age. So we'll get into that too after you do your little rant or whatever you want to do.
Well, I think it's really, really, really important for people to understand that we're not talking about quick fix anything. We're talking about longevity.
It's not magic.
How to make that last 20 to 15 to 20 years of our life to where we can walk, we can move, we can be mobile, we can play with our kids, our grandkids, I should say. We can go out on vacations with our spouses. We can travel. We can get on planes without concerns. Life changes your body, men and women. It's called aging. And things within your system are no longer generated at levels they used to be, whether it be testosterone, whether it be NAD, whether it be estrogen. All these things start to change in our body as we age. That's why the body starts morphing into something we don't want sometimes. That's where these products do you justice. That's where these products do you well. However, the way Steve and I use products is very managed, very professional. We're not out talking to Joey the fish in the back parking lot buying illegal products. It's just not happening. We're not in our facilities sharing, needles with people. We're not doing this kind of stuff. We're not talking about the illegal trades out there. We're talking about healthy options to enhance your life. I also am a testosterone user. We have both. Steve knows more about peptides, but I've used some. Um, these are things that make you mental clarity, heart, bloods, waistline, libido, energy. You can clearly think and see tomorrow without being depressed. All this stuff works and it works well. And there's information everywhere. And I did not just run into using products. I studied and studied. So Steve can tell you when he brings ideas up about things, he knows I'm going to drag my feet because I'm so darn cautious. And I wait and wait and wait until I'm finally comfortable. It took me years before I started using testosterone to study it, to look at it, to read everything, to find out, to ask every single question. And then I still wasn't confident enough. And I went to a specialist to do it. And I spent a lot of money to learn. I'm telling you, these things are good for you. You have to use them wisely. You have to be smart about it. We're not talking about at our age going out and using a big steroid stack, things like this. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about products that enhance your life, prepare you for a longer life, and make things better for you, Steve.
Yeah, so let me just say, first of all, I'm going to get into some of the things that I've done, but this is for research. This is research for me and my monkey. Um, so we're not doctors. You guys have to go do your own research. We're talking about your body. You need to talk to your medical practitioner and get their opinion on this stuff. That's important. Now, I do want to clarify when I say I'm enhanced, the answer is yes. And this is where a lot of these fitness influencers, you might think they're playing games with words, but they're not. Well, some of them are. But if you asked me, are you natural? If somebody asked me, Steve, are you natural? Yes, I'm natural, but I'm enhanced. Why am I enhanced? Because I'm taking things that are natural. I'm not on gear. I don't use gear. I'm on hormone replacement, testosterone replacement to put my testosterone at an ideal level, not a too high level, an ideal level for my health. And it's a very, very small dose. So, am I on gear? No. Am I natural? Yes. Am I enhanced? Yes. And Brian and I will be very clear with everyone who listens to this about what we do. We both think that's very important. We'll tell you what we do, but am I on gear? No. Am I natural? Absolutely. Am I enhanced? Absolutely. And I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to be. So, creatine is something that's going to enhance you. Is it natural? Yes, it comes from red meat. So, I'll throw, and I know you're right. You do a lot of research when I throw some of these things out, and I'm going to throw some of these things out, but you guys got to go look them up. And you might get mad at me. Come on, tell me more. No, there's plenty of people online that will tell you way more than I'm going to tell you. But things like retatrutide. Wow. Why am I saying wow? Because of what some of the people that are saying that are doing this research on their cows and animals and stuff. So I'm blown away at the testimonies of what these people are saying and what the literature is saying about things like retatrutide. Mind blowing. Sloop 332. I think it's, what is it? SSL dash PP dash 332 C, MOTS C, SS31 C, Cimarellin, Ipamorelin, with CJC 1295. I could go on and on and on. You've got to look up this stuff and do your own research and look at the studies yourself. I'm not going to tell you or even tell you what I think, other than some of these things are mind-blowing, and you got to go see what you think about them. What are your thoughts, Brian?
I 100% believe that everybody needs to make the personal choice, because what we have to look at this, and I always take this approach. How it works for me may not work for you in the same way. You have to make that decision. You have to look into it. But when you're using products such as testosterone, everybody knows from day one that Steve and I are testosterone guys. And yes, we love it. However, if anybody asks me about it, because I'm free to talk about it, and this is important to understand, if you're taking these products, peptides, which Steve was just talking about, testosterone, creatine, vitamin, whatever it's going to be, vitamin B. I mean, whatever you're going to choose to use, and you get it legally. Here's what's important: don't waste it. And what I mean by that is, if you're using these products, like if you go on testosterone because you read about it, it talks about, oh, you're going to feel better, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Take advantage of what it's going to do for your body. Take advantage with creatine, what it's going to do for your body. And some of the side effects that you can get from these things. That's why you have to make these decisions. But I always like to remind people too, if you have to keep it a secret, why you're taking it? Why is it a big secret? In other words, I don't think if you come and talk to me, uh, I'm 58. I don't look like a bodybuilder. I don't. I've never lived that way. I've never used steroids or anything like that, but I am on the stronger side. And you might say to me, hey, is that because of testosterone? Well, I never had a significant increase in strength because of testosterone. In fact, my top end isn't any better because of it. However, if you have been with us the last few years, you would have seen me discuss a recomposition in my body that occurred because I was exercising, I was taking it, I was paying attention to what's going in and out of my body. Um, I didn't waste the product. I took advantage of it. There's another one that I'm going to look into, that Steve had just mentioned earlier, that when I decide to start this product, you guys will all know I'll be talking about it because I want you to follow the journey with me. It may or may not be right for you, but I'm going to invest my time in how I use it. I'm going to make sure I'm eating the correct way. I'm going to make sure everything's dialed in so I'm not wasting this product. And the reason I say that is, for some people, you may not want to work out, but I can't say enough. Throw all this stuff out the window. And this is just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. If you're not going to work out, do something to move your body, and this helps support that. You're also going to, as we age, gain a little strength, help that muscle regrow. The creatine itself is going to bring a clarity into your mindset that you cannot get without it. It's also going to volumize your muscle. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to have to drink a little bit more water because your molecules are sucking up the water, but that's okay. It'll be nothing but pure benefit, in my opinion. Also, don't be afraid to share this with your doctors. My doctor knows everything I've tried, everything. There's no hidden anything. And if I'm going to try something new and I start it when I go to my physical, I let him know because I want him to help me measure successes and look for things as well. I don't have the developed knowledge that Steve does with a lot of these products. So I go to other experts to help me as well. Don't be afraid to do that. Be cautious, but be smart also. When you do start, invest the time to use it properly, Steve.
You know, I think if you're not telling your physician about some of the things that you're doing, that's where you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
If, don't tell my doctor. Don't tell my doctor I took this pill or whatever. Um, but here's why I think most influencers who are really fit and look really good, and they're on gear, they're insulting people's intelligence, some of these guys, when they say they're not on gear, and some of the women too, don't say I'm on gear, I'm not. Oh, okay, sorry. You're a lady, aren't you? So you can tell they're on gear. But here's why I think that they say they're not. Here's why they say they're not natural. And here's why they say, um, I'm not on anything. Because, and I get this, the reason they say that when they are is because they don't want people to say, well, I'd look just like you if I did that. And that's what we kind of talked about at the beginning. They say, I wouldn't be fat. I would look just like you if I did that. And that kind of pisses off some of these influencers who work really hard on their bodies. They bust their butts to look the way they do, men and women. And it's an insult when you tell them that's why you look good. That's why you're really fit, is because you're doing this peptide or you're doing that. And if I did it, I would look just like you. I think that's why they don't say that a lot of times.
I think that's an interesting point, Steve, because I get into this big debate with other people because people will ask me, let's just use steroids as an example. People ask me if I'm anti-steroid. I am for me. I don't care if somebody else takes it. But what I know is, like, let's just say in the professional bodybuilder ranks, a heavyweight bodybuilder, when you look at them, if you don't think for 2 seconds they're not on some kind of stack throughout their year, they can't get that way without it. But you have to appreciate, this is why it doesn't bother me. You have to appreciate the amount of work, even with the gear in their body, that it takes to get to those levels. It's stuff that 99% of the people on this earth can't do because it's so demanding. They are athletes. They're just enhanced in a different way. And they're basically, you got to look at them like a piece of art. They've sculpted the clay on their body to look in a certain fashion. Yes, you can say, well, but what about the all natural groups? Well, I'm going to say there might be some high level competitors who have never taken anything. But I also want to say, I bet you in the all natural group, a lot of them have taken stuff in the past. They've just changed their position in life.
They're enhanced.
They're enhanced. It's the way we can say it. So take all this, with an open mind as well. Don't be so judgmental just because you think somebody used steroids. Don't be so judgmental because you think people are taking peptides and they have an advantage on you. It's not that they have an advantage. They're going in a certain direction in their life to change their behavior, to change the way of life, to change their physique. Why not say nice job? Way to go. Way to work hard and way to get successful in what you thought was important. Steve?
Yeah, it's that's the thing that I think gets irritating for a lot of people. Is that, well, of course you're on gear. Well, I've seen a lot of influencers that get really mad about that when people say, "Oh, that's why you look good," and I'd look just like you. That's the stupidest thing anyone can say. You're not going to look like, and these guys, in the Mr. Olympia and all that stuff, the highest bodybuilding shows, competitors, they don't even look real. It doesn't matter what they're taking. And is that healthy? I doubt it. I doubt that it's healthy to be at 3.5% body fat, 275 pounds. That can't be healthy. But, we're getting off on a tangent here, or I am. Um, it, but
What it took to get there, Steve, is
exactly,
something that's really hard to measure. I
decade.
know I could not do it because I don't have that kind of mindset for it. But
Decades.
those that
So,
do, good job.
yeah, what we're talking about is just being healthier. And so you go find out for yourself if you think peptides, there's so many of them out there. A lot of them are FDA approved. Some of them aren't. Some of them are in trials, stage 3 trials, like retatrutide is in stage 3. So you go find out for yourself how healthy you want to be. And you always hear me say this if you watch my channels. Everyone gets a teeter-totter. You put this on the teeter-totter, on this side, it does this. You don't put it on there, maybe the teeter-totter does this. So that you can maximize the health that you want to have. You get to make your own choices and have your own consequences. But you might as well, or you should, talk to your doctor and at least confess if you're doing something that you're afraid to tell him about. I would suggest that you tell him or
Tell them
her. Tell
because
her if your doctor's a her.
they'll help you manage that too. And because we're discussing things with an open mind, Steve, does that make us gym hippies instead of gym rats?
We could be both.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
All right, Brian, any last thoughts?
No, just be safe with whatever you do. Just because somebody else is taking something does not mean it's right for you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Be
Right.
smart.
We want to be healthier and we want you to be healthy. Lose weight, get fit, be healthy. And all I'm saying is being enhanced does not mean you're not healthy. So you decide where and when and what you want to be enhanced with. So, Brian, as always, thanks for being with us.
Hey, great topic. We'll see you soon, everybody.